Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome to the first episode of the Seagal-A-Thon, which I had a lot of fun reviewing all the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. When I did that marathon of reviews, I have a playlist on my channel which features all of the Jean-Claude Van Damme films that I've reviewed, including my favorite back there. Very nice guy named Fabio, Italian Stallion 51, is reviewing Seagal films and made me go, you know what? He's doing a great job with those. Makes me want to revisit these and do another marathon of an action hero. I did Jean-Claude Van Damme, so why not do his rival, Steven Seagal? And Steven Seagal is above the law. I love that. A lot of his titles, especially the early days, like Steven Seagal is hard to kill. Steven Seagal is out for justice. Steven Seagal is on deadly ground. I mean, I love that. I guess that was the thing Warner Brothers with their marketing, and it worked. And for the good chunk of films to begin his career, they were with Warner Brothers, including his film debut. And it's a good film debut. It's a very solid movie. I enjoy it. Directed by Andrew Davis, who had done the film Code of Silence with Chuck Norris, which I guess Seagal had seen and thought he did a good job. And they would later work together on Under Siege. Andrew Davis would also direct Chain Reaction, which I thought was okay. Collateral Damage with Schwarzenegger, which I enjoy. The Fugitive, which is a very solid flick. He was a covert agent trained in Vietnam. He has a master's 6th-degree black belt in Aikido and family in the mafia. He's a cop with an attitude. And watching this film, it's really sad the way Seagal is nowadays, and then seeing how he is back then. He's in shape, he's fit. You usually even say he's a little bit thin in the movie. He has really well done fight sequences, decent enough plot, capable supporting cast. Quite a few of them, Andrew Davis will work on films. Some of them he got from Code of Silence, The Brain here. I mean, Henry Silva was the bad guy in Code of Silence. He's the bad guy in here. A lot of the people behind the scenes you would also see in The Fugitive with Andrew Davis directed. The music, David Michael Frank. He would also do music for Hard to Kill and I believe Out for Justice. He also did Code of Silence. He did The Hero and the Terror. He did Showdown Little Tokyo. He did Street Night with Jeff Speakman. So David Michael Frank does a good job. He's an underrated composer. Because Showdown Little Tokyo is a great score. Hero and the Terror is one of my favorite scores of a Chuck Norris film. Code of Silence is a solid one. Street Night is good. The music in some of these Seagal films he did, like this or Out for Justice, they're pretty solid stuff. I think the one he didn't do was March for Death. I just want to double check, because that's with 20th Century Fox. And yeah, James Newton Howard did March for Death. Just want to double check on that. But yeah, I mean, just even starting off with, before this, Steven Seagal didn't do films. I think he worked on some choreography on The Challenge with Scott Glenn. I think he also worked with Sean Connery a little bit on a film. Might have been Never Say Never Again. I could be wrong, though. But this was his film debut, and, you know, I'll make fun of his acting later on, but in his early films, he's actually pretty solid. He does perfectly fine. He's sort of that smooth, low-key voice. And the rest of the cast, you got Pam Grier as his partner, you got Sharon Stone as his wife, you got, like I said, Henry Silva as the bad guy. He does a good job. Well directed by Andrew Davis. Apparently, I guess in his first film he was okay to work with, but then later on he would definitely get a bit of an ego, and a lot of people calling him a fucking asshole and douchebag. Unfortunately. Film takes place in Chicago, which a lot of Andrew Davis films happen to take place at. plays the character of Nico Toscani, which I know overseas the film would just be called Nico. I like the way the film starts off, where you show real pictures of Steven Seagal. For some reason, I can't say Steven. I said Steven Seagal as a kid, and tell a little bit of his history, and going and studying martial arts. And apparently all those pictures are real pictures of Steven Seagal when he was in his youth. And him actually doing a demonstration with his students, showing Aikido. And lo and behold, it's wide shots. So we can see all. So we can see everything. Why can't he do that nowadays? Just have the fucking camera wide. Pull it back and let us see everything. Why is that so hard to do? Here's a camera, you move it back, and don't cut 56,000 fucking times. I don't know why that's so tough to do nowadays. Wow, these wide shots, we can see him do his moves and how Aikido works and what it encompasses. And it shows a little bit of the backstory of the character, where he's watching this chemical interrogation where Henry Silva is giving this needle to someone, pretty much torturing them for information, and actually smacks Henry Silva in the face, and the buddy of his sort of helps him leave, and Nico is like, fuck this, I'm gone, I'm out of here, I quit. Cut to Chicago, 1988, which is when this film came out. And he's married to Sharon Stone. His kid is baptized. Pam Grier is his partner. She does a good job. A guy tries to pick her up, and she goes, yeah, you got 5 seconds, and 3 are up. It pretty much shows the guy that she's a cop, and the guy goes, hey, cops need cops need boyfriends too. And you have Seagal looking for this girl who's a cousin of his, trying to get information, so he goes in this bar. And actually, Michael Rooker, from Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, Cliffhanger, and Guardians of the Galaxy, Michael Rooker is in the bar. I think his line is, oh, I thought there's no pork allowed here. And he doesn't get the fight, but he's just one of the guys in the bar watching, and these guys fuck with Seagal, and Seagal takes him out using his Aikido moves, some elbows and fists to some noses. And Jack Craven, very nice guy on here, actually sent me a lot of information on these early Steven Seagal films, so I definitely thank him for that info. And he mentions how there's some cuts from the MPAA, like this guy who has the gun, where he takes a guy and slams his ass down, disarms him. I guess apparently there's a bit cut out that he broke the guy's arm. That's why when he slams the guy down, his arm looks fucked up. Never noticed that. But granted, that would have been nice to keep in, but I didn't notice it until Jack mentioned that. And I still like the scene. It shows his speed and wide shots, shows what he can do with his hands, with his movements, using the guy's momentum. I like that stuff. And at the time, people looked at it and go, wow, that's different. That's a little bit unique. So you have Van Damme with his kicks, and he has Seagal with his hands. So it's like, do you want to see a Van Damme, or you want to see Seagal? And also, they're two different personalities, two different... Like Van Damme, in a lot of his films, he's liable to be able to get himself get beat up. I mean, look at what the Sandman does, and beating him up and cutting him and choking him, and then Van Damme makes a comeback. Or Lionheart, he gets the shit kicked out of him, then the guy goes, Lionheart, and beats the fuck out of the guy. Universal Soldier, Dolph Lundgren, he lets Dolph Lundgren beat him up. Are we having fun yet? I say, how high? Got it? What you did through your fucking head? But I did those reviews. Seagal, on the other hand, very rarely will he let someone beat him up. Once in a blue moon, like at the end of the film, he's tied up and he's beaten a little bit, his nose is bleeding. In The Glare Man, he gets punched in the nose like once, and you see a little bit of blood under his nose. In Under Siege 2, there's a fight with Everett McGill, and I think in one part he gets kicked in the head. But very, very rarely will he get beat up. 99% it's a one-sided fight. And I think, some people will find that boring. I can partly understand that. It's like, Seagal, you can have him beat you up a little bit and then make a comeback, but Seagal doesn't want that, so that's just how Seagal rolls. But in the early days, it was fine, because it was, God, this is fucking unstoppable guy fucking people up, sometimes almost if it was a fucking slasher film, with how brutal some of this stuff is. I mean, like at the end with Henry Silva, takes him and just slowly breaks his fucking arm in half. And then takes him and just breaks his neck. Let alone Alfred Justice hits a guy with a meat cleaver right into his hand to stick into the wall. Or even on Deadly Ground, which he makes a guy hit himself with a knife and then turns around, hits him back, and the knife like pops out the other side of the guy's head. That's what I loved about this early Seagal, is he seemed like a suave, cool, soft, low-key, badass motherfucker with his Aikido, and you're like, oh shit, get out of the way. And then his brutality, breaking arms, breaking legs, breaking necks, breaking something, and at times could be pretty damn bloody, which was pretty fun. I mean, that sounds sadistic, but it was pretty fucking fun. But anyway, he disarms the guy with the gun and finds his cousin with this other asshole who's with cocaine, tosses him around. And there's some really good lines of dialogue, like, you better pray to God you ain't bullshit me, or I'll come back and tear your heart out. Gets his cousin, the girl, to go back to her family. Get some info from the guy who was using cocaine, fucked his shit up, and there's a stakeout. But some feds jump the gun, there's a little shootout. We did a pretty good stunt sequence where Seagal rolls and he's on top of the car, and looks like most part he's on top of the car riding it, punches through the window, choking the shit out of this guy, and the guy drives like, what should I do? And the guy did just like, stop the fucking car. And then Seagal's like choking some more, and the guy's like, stop the fucking car! I thought that was pretty funny. And of course the bureau and such are dirty, so the guys are arrested, they're let go. And Seagal and Pam Grier follows him to this church, and the father there shows him some folks in the basement, and there's one thing leads to another. At church one time, there's a bomb in the church, and Seagal wants to make them pay. So he's looking for these motherfuckers who planted that bomb in the church, killed some people, almost killed him and his wife Sharon Stone and their child. These thugs, some with guns, one with a machete. Seagal fucks him up, takes one, cuts another guy's hand off with the machete. Just fucks all these guys up. Chases one guy on... A lot of people make fun of the way Seagal runs. So he kind of does like... But it didn't bother me as much because, A, at least he could run. At least he can run. Nowadays, he can't fucking walk, let alone run. But at least he could fucking run, and hell, at this point, he could run better than me. So, yeah, his running didn't bother me. I know a lot of people make fun of that run, but he was keeping up with the guy, and again, he could run better than me, and at least he could run, and at least he could do shit. And he had some really good lines of dialogue. Like he's asking the guy for information, and he tells him, and Seagal goes, "If I find out you're lying, I'll come back and kill you in your own kitchen." Wait, is this? And then some random guy, this big guy, comes up. Why you fucking with my friend? Oh, it's not one of those days. I don't give a fuck. Just punch gut the big guy, and he goes down like nothing. Just like, oh. And then these guys are, hey, it's cool, man, it's cool. Seagal walks by. Yeah, this early stage, I like Seagal's acting. I really enjoy his movies. Later on, I mean, he gets suspended, he gets fucked with, a bunch of bad guys shoot up his car. He's like, freeze, motherfucker! Drop that magazine, motherfucker, now! I like that. Not this shitty Cajun accent that he tries to go through in some of his direct-to-video films, or the shit that's not even his own fucking voice, or he's so fucking bored. Hey, how's it going? I mean, I know I got paid for this, but, is it time to take a nap now? Can I take a nap during the scene? Oh, I gotta do it afterward? I could just do it in the scene. I mean, people think I'm talking, but secretly I'm napping. I'm just letting my mouth do whatever the hell it wants. That's what he seems like nowadays. He's sleepwalking. He's sleepwalking throughout most of his fucking movies nowadays. Hey, how's it going? My name's Steven Seagal. Do I have to be here? Can I go back and lay down now? Get another hooker to sit on my face? Yeah, I just want to lay down now. I want to, trim my goatee a bit more. Visit you. Here, he gives a fuck. That's the thing. He gives a shit. In these early films, he gave a flying fuck. And when he gives a fuck, I give a fuck. So I like he's like, drop that magazine, motherfucker, now. He means it. And I mean it when I'm like, yeah. Get the shit out of him. And then this punk goes, I don't think you could take this all, badass. Shoots him. And Nico then goes, know about getting A for effort. Now that line sounds like a little bit of ADR, like maybe it was added after. Maybe he didn't say anything when he shot the guy. And I went, oh, let's put in a one-liner in case that's too harsh. I always thought that line sounded a little bit weird, like ADR. The know about getting A for effort. It might have been added after the fact. But he takes the bad guys, the rest of them, into the shop. He's telling them, like, get the fuck down. And this fight, the scuffle, it's maybe my favorite fight in the movie, in the shop. There's a lot of great stuff. Especially the one move I love, when the guy comes up and he does this, and he puts his arm like that. Like, I don't know how to just... The guy comes, he blocks it, and then puts his whole arm down, and guy just right across the guy's neck, and the guy flops to the ground like fish. Just like he was a bag of potatoes. And like shoves a guy, and they both go right through the fucking window. Then he meets up with this asshole bureau guy. He said, listen, Toscani, I want to congratulate you. You should be number 4 on the most wanted list. And he's like, number 4? I want to be number 1. One thing leads to another. He finds out these bad guys interrogating this priest, and this is a little shootout where Pam Grier gets shot, but she's going to be okay because she's wearing a vest. And then gets with this old buddy of his, and they have this conversation. It's like, do we kill our own senators now? Because that's the whole thing. It's dealing with these bad guys, drug dealers, drug lords, wanting to kill his senators in their business. Also dealing with some higher-ups who are protecting them. And then his buddy goes, why not the Romans did? And Seagal's like, are we the fucking Romans? And Seagal started giving a speech about how... Actually, I'll do it justice. His buddy's name is Fox. You know something, Fox? Right now in Europe, they're trying some 80-year-old camp guard for Nazi war crimes. And all around our country, they got guys on death row for murdering 1, 2, 3 guys. And they probably deserve what they're going to get. But you and I, we know a couple of people that are personally responsible for the death of what? 50,000 non-military personnel? Librarians, teachers, doctors, women, children, all dead. We've wiped out entire cultures. And for what? Not one CIA agent has ever been tried, much less accused of any crimes. You think you're above the law. Well, you ain't above mine. And, I actually liked a lot of this dialogue. That was pretty... Stephen Pressfield, Ronald Shusett. That's a name I remember. Ronald Shusett, his name being around films like Total Recall. I think he helped write, with Dan O'Bannon, write the original script for Alien, Ronald Shusett. And then Andrew Davis worked on the screenplay, while Andrew Davis and Steven Seagal worked on the story. But after that, They're in this garage. Bad guys come, including Henry Silva. His buddy gives him a gun, dies. Little shootout. One asshole he pushes with his car, goes right through the window of the garage, and the guy falls to his death. And Seagal's driving, his car's getting fucked up. He gets caught, tied up, beaten up, blood over his nose and face, shot with a needle. Sort of like that chemical thing Henry Silver likes to give people. I guess sort of a take on a truth serum. But he fucks these guys up. Just breaks out, takes a shotgun, shoots these two people, hits one guy in the head, in the face. And then Henry Silver, he has no chance. Henry Silver pulls out a knife, it don't mean shit. It just takes him, just fucking breaks his nose. Looks like he just elbows him and his nose is like completely broken. Fucks up his arm, takes him around, just breaks his neck. Which reminds me of when Schwarzenegger broke those necks in Total Recall. When they first try to kill him and he's fighting those guys off, including he thought it was his buddy. And he takes it back. I realize not a lot of people do that now in action films, where they get a guy by the neck and just, I don't know, that sound effect and just the idea of your neck being cracked. A little disconcerting. But in a good way for an action film. And he comes out and he's fine and they wanted to assassinate the senator, but the senator's okay, and at the end he's sitting with Sharon Stone and some people from the media and telling his story about how there's certain people high above who think they're above the law. It's going to be hard reviewing these films because why do I like a lot of these films? Steven Seagal at this time gave a shit. And he gave a fuck on being there. Acting-wise, he's not sleepwalking. A lot of people make fun of him as an actor. Nowadays, yeah. He said, I don't want to be here. Is a phone call come lately? Yeah. Hey. Oh, is a new season of Lawman? Steven Seagal's Lawman? Okay, I'll be there. He doesn't care. Here, he cares. Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, Under Siege. He cares. Even on Daily Ground, despite his flaws, he cared. Nowadays, he doesn't give a shit. He shows up for a paycheck, does as little as he can, and leaves. Fight scenes are well done, brutal, great showcase of Aikido. The music by David Michael Frank, what he did here, and Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, as well as other films like Showdown Low Tokyo, Hero and the Terror. He did a good job with the score. Andrew Davis, very solid action director. Code of Silence before this, after this. The Fugitive, Under Siege, The Fugitive. I even don't mind his... Actually, what has he done lately? I don't know what he's... Actually, I don't know what he's done lately. I thought that's someone else, though. I can't remember what he's done lately. But yeah, I love Collateral Damage. Schwarzenegger that Andrew Davis did. Sharon Stone's character honestly didn't need to be there. I mean, she's the wife, and all she's there is to, oh, don't do this, you think of your family, kind of a wet blanket. I mean, in real life, it's understandable why she's saying that, but you look at it as a movie, it's a wet blanket. So, it just, like, why is she even there? Pam Grier does fine. Capable supporting cast. Henry Silva, I think, is a good actor. Some good lines of dialogue. I really don't... Most of these early Seagal films, I have no problems with. This is a perfectly fine... just a very solid debut above the law. A lot of people consider this one of the best Seagal films. I see why. Just a very solid flick. And I actually do have this on Blu-ray among some others, but I like the way these DVDs... I always like the snapper case. A lot of people hate the snapper case DVDs, but I do. I like these snapper cases because these cases seem durable, and they seem tough, and they're cardboard, and I always liked... They felt strong. They didn't feel weak. So I was showing these off. I always like these snap cases. My only problem is they were double-sided discs. Like, one's widescreen, the other side's flip screen. I hate double-sided, but I do have them on Blu-ray. But I thought these cases looked better. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And stay tuned to Steven Seagal. It's hard to kill. I'm going to take you to the bank, Senator. The blood bank.